Am I a Freemason? This is a question, bizarrely, a number of people have been putting to me on social media just recently. I don't know why, but someone seems to have started a rumor that I was seen in a lodge wearing some funny clothes. Well, I am not a Freemason. I never have been a Freemason. I never will be a Freemason. I am a Christian. I do not adhere to the tenets of Freemasonry. And if you want to know what they are, you can just read Albert Pike. It's all there for everybody to see what they believe. And, from level 1 up to level 33, I've not been involved in it at all. So I hope that clears that up. I have not had much contact with Freemasonry at all, although once I was invited to join a lodge. I said no. And this was a long time ago, actually. Now it was about 8 years ago. I think it was 2017, back in the days when I was still a London Assembly member and I was in UKIP before I left UKIP and started the Heritage Party. And when I was there, there was someone who was a Freemason, and he was fairly well known within UKIP. Behind the scenes, not so much front of house. You wouldn't know him if you wasn't in the public eye very much, but he was, quite a large character in the party behind the scenes. And I was in a pub in London, and this person, I'm not going to identify him. It's, there's no point in trying to do that. It was a long time ago now, so you won't be able to identify who this person is. But he said to me, "Oh, Dave, nice to see you. Can we have a little chat?" No, so I went with him to a quiet corner of the pub, and he said, "It would be a great honor if I could introduce you to my lodge." I really wasn't expecting that, and I said, "Oh, okay." I was a little bit awkward. I was like, "Well, that doesn't really interest me too much." Okay, and he said, "Oh, why not?" This person seemed to be completely taken aback that he'd invited me to join the Freemasons in his lodge, and I would say no. I mean, it sort of seemed to be, to this person, inconceivable that someone would turn down an offer to join. So I said, "Well, look, thank you, but I'm a Christian, and I'm not interested in joining any secret societies." And so then he said, "Well, think about it, because I think it would help you if you joined." Now, I'm not quite sure what that means, what kind of help I would have if I joined the Freemasons. Maybe he thought that if I joined, I would have access to people who could get me things or find me jobs or get me money or get me positions or whatever. But I'm just not interested in that. In fact, I'm opposed to secret societies that help each other behind the scenes to the detriment of other people who are not in the secret societies. That they're all, scratching each other's back and helping each other climb the greasy pole. And this is one of the big problems we have today in the United Kingdom, because the judiciary, the people at the bar, the barristers, and many people in the police, many MPs, and the established political parties, it's just infested with Freemasonry and other secret societies. The civil services probably has some, but they've got Common Purpose, which is another semi-secret organization. You can do these courses, it's very open, but you don't get very far within the civil service unless you are a member or an affiliate of Common Purpose. They know who you are, so that you're known, and then you'll get promoted, by the people higher up who are also in Common Purpose. It's how Freemasonry works with the police. The people at the top are Freemasons. Yeah, you can join the police if you're not, but you're probably not going to get very far. You might get to sergeant, but you're never going to get to inspector or detective or commissioner. Or, it's very unlikely to happen. I'm not saying that all police commissioners are Freemasons, but I'm saying that it's probably easier to get into that position if you are than if you aren't. The same with the judiciary and so on. And people high up in, the NHS, it seems to be that there's, sort of affiliations there, without mentioning or pointing the finger at any individual person. It's just the way it's been for many, many centuries in England and Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland as well. I mean, I know people who have been in the Freemasons, and they've come out of it. They've become Christians. They've left Freemasonry. They realize that it's incompatible with Christianity, although some people go into it at the lower levels and they actually believe that it's a good thing, that they're actually doing good because they raise money for charity. And they do raise money for charity. I'm not against raising money for charity, but the baggage that comes with it, to me, just isn't worth it. But I know there are people who are in the lower levels who actually genuinely believe that it's a good thing. But, obviously, if you get up to level 33, then, really what's going on. And, I wouldn't want anybody to be in that situation. So people that I know who have spoken to me about what happens, even if you join at the very, very first level, is something that I really would not do personally, because you have these initiation ceremonies where you're blindfolded, you roll your leg up, you do all these strange things, and you have to take an oath in which you curse yourself. This is what people tell me who have come out of it. They tell me about what happened. Even at the very first level, they curse themselves and say, if I break my oath, may I be killed, or something, may I die. Well, you've got to be crazy to take an oath in which you curse yourself. I mean, why would you do that? I mean, people probably do that because they don't take it seriously, or because they think that it's actually, there's something good about it, which there isn't. In terms of, okay, they do community work and they do charity work, okay, or people go in it because they think they're going to get something out of it. And I'm sure some people do get something out of it if they get connections, which then help their business or help their financial position. They get a contract. They're first in line for contracts. They're first in line for procurement. They help each other out. They help each other's businesses to grow. But I don't think that's a healthy thing, for that to be limited and restricted to people who are members of a secret society. It's not good for the country, for openness, for fairness, for true equality, which is that everybody is on a level playing field. If the people are in a society, a secret society, and they have a significant number of positions of power, and they use those positions to promote and further the interests only of other people in that secret society, then you do not have a truly fair and equal society, which is what you would have with Christianity. But it's not what you have with Freemasonry. Neither is it what you have with Common Purpose, and neither is it what you have with Talmudism, neither is it what you have with Sharia. Any of these things, they're all destructive to the understanding of what we have in society, which is equality before the law, common law, and everyone has equal opportunities to survive and thrive and make the most of their lives in this country. So I turned down the opportunity that was given to me 8 years ago to join the Freemasons. To me, it was just an absolute no-brainer. I didn't even need a second to decide that it wasn't for me. But it was interesting that the person that tried to get me to join just assumed that I would jump at the chance, but I didn't, I wouldn't, I never will. And so hopefully that categorically answers the questions that some people are bizarrely putting to me. This comes up every now and again. I am not, never have been, never will be a Freemason or a member of any secret society whatsoever. Thanks for listening, everybody. God bless you all.